What's up? Michael here, and welcome to the first CSS episode. Now, the last episode was pretty long, about an hour long, but I don't know why it's taking so long just to upload it and process. Wow. So anyway, let's get started with the CSS. So, once we're done with HTML and CSS, we'll move on to making a website, because we don't really need JavaScript and jQuery to actually do this course. This course, by the way, I found out that it's just about Codecademy Pro. So anyway, let's get started. So yeah, CSS. Seeing is believing. Take a look at the HTML file in index.html. Pretty standard, right? You know all this stuff. Headers, paragraphs, images, lists, and tables. Look at in the preview pane. No surprises there. In fact, it's pretty ugly if you ask us. The stylesheet.css tab, which we'll teach you how to use in this course, contains all the CSS styling information. Where HTML elements should go, what color they should be, and how big they should be, and more. Yeah, here's all the CSS. We've commented our crucial line in the index.html file. If you remove the comment in line 4 before the text and the comment in the line 6 after the text, you'll be able to see magic CSS in parts. Don't delete any of the actual link tag. So if we delete this, and boom, boom. Yeah, this is what CSS does. It gives you the style. Instructions. Remove the comment from around the then view the So, what CSS is. CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets, is a language used to describe the appearance and formatting of your HTML. A style sheet is a file that describes how an HTML file should look. That's it. We say these style sheets are cascading because the sheets can apply formatting when more than one style applies. For instance, if you say all paragraphs should have blue font, you can specifically single out one paragraph to have red font. CSS can do that. We'll talk more about cascading in section 4. Instructions. Click on style.css, and it's that tab near the top of your screen next to index.html. We put the CSS to make the paragraphs text red, but you need to add the CSS that will make the text between span text blue. Fill it in and click Save and Submit Code. So, here's how you do it. Like this. So, this selects the paragraph here and turns it to red. The color. These like wrap around. These change it to red. So the span here, it has chosen the span. This has chosen the span. And then we need to make the color blue. And then boom. What separate form from function? Great work. Look at you. You're already writing CSS. There are two main reasons for separating your form/formatting CSS from your functional content structure HTML. You can apply the same formatting to several HTML elements without rewriting code and over. You can apply similar appearance and formatting to several HTML pages from a single CSS file. Look at the HTML and index.html. That's a lot of span text. All those words are in regular font, but we want them to be super fancy. Go to the style.css tab and tell the span selector that you want the font family to be cursive. Check the hint if you need help. So this is called the selector. Oh no. And then for the span, like before, when we learned about the style attribute, this is like the same font family and then cursive. Yep, only the span. Like that. Here's my code. If it's in, it's out. We previously showed you how to do inline styling with HTML. Like so. Like this. So, inline styling means that you the styling is in the HTML file. Oh, not done yet. This is a less awesome way to style your website for the reasons we just mentioned. You have to write the same code over and over, and if you want to make a big stylistic change to several elements, you have to change every single style tag. With the single CSS file, you only have to make the change in one place. There are two ways to put CSS in one place. This first is to put your CSS between style tags right in the same file as your HTML. These style tags go inside the head of your web page. Check out the example to the editor on the right. P color purple style tags. Yeah, this is like a separate CSS file. Instructions make sense. Good. Hit save and submit code to continue. Link it up, but there's an even better way. You know you should write your CSS in a totally separate file, but how do you make sure your HTML file can see that CSS information? You do this by putting a link tag. But how do you make sure your HTML can see? Yeah, you do this by putting a link tag, as you saw in the first exercise of this course, between the head tags of your HTML page. Your link tag needs 3 attributes: a type attribute that should always be equal to text/CSS, a rel attribute that should always be equal to style sheet, a href attribute that should point to the web address of your CSS file. The web address is style.css, stylesheet.css. In the editor to the right, you'll see 2 files: index.html and stylesheet.css. I like style.css better than stylesheet. Instruction. You can do any one you want. Instructions. Insert a link to stylesheet.css and index.html. Check the hint if you need help. So, after the title, by the way, this link tag is a self-closing tag. The href attribute, we put it to stylesheet.css right there. Then row, style sheet, and type. You don't necessarily have to do the type attribute, but I just like to. Exactly, right there. Boom. PSA, self-closing tags. Wait, I'm gonna see how much. Wow, 26. This brings us to a quick but noteworthy concept in HTML: the self-closing tag. Because nothing ever goes between link tags, it's okay to use a single set of less than or greater than tag signs to be the opening and closing tags. You do that like so. Blah. You may have noticed us do something similar with the img tag. Most tags are not self-closing, but we'll point out that the self-closing ones to help save you time and typing instructions. Alright, hit save and submit code to proceed to the next stop on our whirlwind tour of CSS tags. Syntax for the win tags. CSS syntax is different from the HTML you're used to, but don't worry, it's easy to pick up. The general format looks like this: selector, property, value. A selector can be any HTML element, such as image, or table. You just take off the tag marks, or whatever they call it. To make a paragraph's text red with CSS, you type P color red. So selector, property, value. A property is an aspect of a selector. For instance, you can change the font family, color, and font size of the text on your web page, in addition to many more. A value is a possible setting for a property. Color can be red, blue, black, or almost any color. Yeah, font family can be a whole bunch of different fonts and so on. You need to end each property value with a semicolon. That's how CSS knows you're done with one pair and ready for the next. Instructions. Okay, time for you to write some CSS all on your own. In the style.css tab, make the font color of the P selector green. Check the hint if you need help. So, P brackets, curly brackets, color. Wait, here for CSS for indentation, I don't use two spaces. I just indent. Color green, and then save and submit code. Start next lesson. Hey guys, so I know this is in the middle of the video, and yeah, this was in the middle of this video I was making about CSS. Yeah. And as you can see, I have just recently updated my software to OS 10 El Capitan. Yep, so happy. Yeah, everything's nice. So, yeah, we're gonna continue CSS. Yeah, make video. So, one selector, many properties. Great work. Another cool advantage of CSS is that you can set many properties for one selector. For instance, if you want to set a paragraph's font color and font size, you can simply write blah blah blah. Remember, end each property value pair with a semicolon. Please note, if you have adjusted your browser zoom, tests involving font size and height will not work correctly. To remedy this, please type Command 0 or Control 0 to reset your view. Instructions. Underneath your color green, wait, I'm gonna go to my CSS document. Underneath the color green property value pair, but before the final bracket, set the font family to Garamond. Font size to 24 pixels. Wait, I'm gonna see what the difference is. Not a difference. Okay, so I'll start next lesson. Many selectors, many properties. Good work. They say that practice makes perfect, so let's do a couple more. We'll talk even more about selectors in the next course. Instructions. Make all the HD headings red. H3 headings red. Color is red. Okay. Set all the paragraphs to the career font family. Now, an easier way to do this is by creating a comma P and then P. Wait. Actually, nah, I'm not gonna do this. You'll probably learn this later on. P. And then there's, font family to career. And then the second paragraph contains text between span tags. So span background color yellow. Background color yellow. Oh, I like the font Courier. The importance of semicolons. As you start adding more and more property value pairs for each CSS selector, it's important to remember to put a semicolon at the end of each line. The semicolon tells CSS that one property value pair is over and it's time to move on to the next one. Without semicolons, it'll be more confused and your page won't look right. Also, don't forget, all property value pairs for a selector are surrounded by curly braces. Instructions. The CSS in style.css is broken. Some of the curly braces are out of whack and semicolons are missing. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, fix the CSS. So I'm going to change it to this. this, 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 this. There you go. Let's start the next lesson. Commentary. Great. You're really getting the hang of this. While it's important to get all your syntax down correctly, it's also a good idea to write comments as you go along. Good comments will help you remind you why you did something a certain way, or will help someone else if there's reading your code without you there to explain. As you've seen, HTML comments look like this, and CSS comments, on the other hand, look like this. Remember, the computer doesn't look at comments when figuring out what your HTML and CSS should do. But writing good comments is a good habit you want to pick up. Instructions. See the CSS we've added for the Selector and the style.css. Comment it out. That is, yeah. So I'm gonna do this like that. Boom. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You've learned a lot in just a few short lessons. We're impressed. Let's quickly review to make sure you really know your stuff. Instructions. Add a link to the style.css tag. Like to stylesheet.css and between your head tags. So link. I'm gonna do href stylesheet.css rel stylesheet sheet, and then type what was it, text /css. Change the h1 headers font family to Verdana. Change the h3 headers font family to Courier. There. And then make the paragraph text color purple. Add a CSS comment to the CSS tab. It can say anything you like. I'm just gonna put this is CSS. Seems to make code. Details. Hexa, what now? You've got the main ideas. Now it's time to dive into nitty-gritty. You've noticed that when we've asked you to set color properties using CSS, we've been having you type things like color red. You may have asked yourself, what if I want maroon or fire engine red, or more of a red orange? Does CSS know all these words? The answer is no. It can, however, understand millions of colors in the form called hexadecimal values. You're already extremely familiar with decimal values. It's everyday counting. You know when you see a number 1432 that each digit can only be the 10 values 0 through 9. Because there are only 10 possibilities, we say that regular counting is base 10. Hexadecimal counting is base 16. Each digit can be the numbers 0 through 9 or the letters A through F. Crazy, right? Check it out. Instructions. We've set the headers in the editor to different hexadecimal values, which you can see on the CSS tab. Click over to the result tab to see the wide range of colors. Hit save and submit code to continue. Here it is. Yeah, this is hexadecimal. Now, if you want to find out, like, let's say you're choosing a color, but you don't know what the hexadecimal is, so you just have to go to colorpicker.com. I learned this from a YouTuber called the Chernal Project. Yeah, I was looking at some of his Java game programming. So yeah, why isn't it loading? Color picker. Colorpicker.com. Yeah, and then you choose, and it tells you the hexadecimal. Blah blah blah. Okay. So, roses are red. There are lots of tools available on the internet for looking up hexadecimal or simply hex color values. Look, search for hex color palette or hex color picker with your favorite web browser to find a bunch of options. Hex values always start with a pound sign. Are up to 6 digits long and are case insensitive. That is, they don't care about capitalization. Hashtag FFC125 and hashtag FFC125 are the same color. Instructions: make the H3 color. So all we have to do is color hashtag. I like to do it capital. There it is, and the H2 hashtag 8 A2BE2 and oops yeah, saving some code. Start next lesson. Pixels and M's. Great work. We do more with colors as you'll learn more CSS. When we've asked you to adjust font size, we've specified that the unit you should use is pixels for PX for pixels. So P font size 10 pixels. A pixel is a dot on your computer screen. Specifying font sizes in pixels is great when you want the user to see exactly on the screen what you designed on yours. Though it assumes your screens are of similar size. What if the user is using a screen that's a very different size from yours, though, like a smartphone screen? Enter M's. Don't confuse these with the M tags we use for emphasis. The font size unit M is a relative measure. 1 M is equal to the default font size on whatever screen the user is using. That makes it great for smartphone screens, since it doesn't try to tell the cell phone exactly how big to make a font. It just says, hey, 1M is the font size that you normally use, so 2M is twice as big, and 0.5 EM is half that size. Check it out. We've set 3 different paragraphs to the font size. This is 1M, 0.5 M, and 2 EM. For now, use whichever unit, pixels or M's, you're more comfortable with. We just want to show you M now, so you're not surprised when you see it later. Instructions. Hit save and submit code to continue. A font of knowledge. We've also asked you to change the font family of certain elements using CSS. You've seen us use these fonts: Verdana, Courier, and Garamond. But how many fonts does CSS know? The answer is, it depends. Most computers will understand popular fonts like Verdana, Courier, and Garamond, but each individual computer has different fonts installed on it. The good news is that CSS has built-in defaults meant to ensure your users see what you intend. They are serif, a font with little decorative bits on the ends of the strokes that make up letters. Do a search on serif to see what we mean. Sans serif, a plain-looking font like this one. It doesn't have the little doohickeys on the ends of the letters like serif like a serif font does. Cursive, a scripty font. It looks like cursive writing. We'll show you how to import your own fonts in a later course. This will help make sure the person viewing your page has all the fonts you want them to have. Instructions: set the font family of the H1 header to serif. Font family serif. Serif. And then, how come nothing's working? H2 to sans serif. Font family sans serif. Yeah, there it is. Wait, no, I totally forgot about the H3 thingy. Sorry. So yeah. Family. Cursive. Yeah, there it is. Save some code. Start next lesson. So, backup values. You don't have to jump straight to a default value like cursive or sans serif. You can tell CSS to try several, going from one to the next one if you want. If the one you want isn't available. For example, if you write Tahoma Verdana sans serif, CSS will first try to apply Tahoma to your paragraph. If the user's computer doesn't have that font, it will try Verdana next. And if that doesn't work, it will show a default sans serif font instructions. In this stylesheet.css tab, at times as an option before serif, times before serif, Verdana as an option before sans serif, Verdana, and Vivaldi cursive. See, since Vivaldi doesn't work, it's going to use cursive. Review. Great work. You've learned a ton so far. Let's take a quick breather to review. We've covered what CSS is, why we separate form from function, CSS syntax, including multiple selectors, multiple property value pairs and comments, details of how colors, font sizes, and font families work, instructions. Time for a little free play. Use the HTML and CSS files to practice what you've learned. Hit save and submit code when you're ready to move on. I obviously am. Okay, these three. Okay. Background color, height, and width. Remember our friend division tag and how we used it to make those multicolored blocks? Time for you to build your own blocks. Well, block. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. There are 3 properties you'll need to set values for. Background color, which you set to a color or hex value. Height, which you set to a value in pixels. Width, which is also measured in pixels. These exercises will give you a brief overview on the different HTML elements you can set and what some of their property values are, like the new ones we mentioned above. We'll cover HTML element selection more in the next course. In the style.css tab, set the background color of what? Oh, DIV. You gotta explain the selector first. Set the background color to hashtag CC000. Okay, set the height to 100 pixels. Whoa, width to 100 pixels. There. See what's my code. Bordering on insanity. Many HTML elements support the border property. This can be useful with tables. The border property in turn supports several values. For example, for a border 2 pixels thick, solid, and red, you type borders. Pretty fancy. Instructions. In the style.css tab, select your table data cells to have a height. I can't type today. Height of 50 pixels, so we can see them better when we add our border. Give your TDs a border of 1 pixels dashed blue. Dashed blue. Yeah, like that. So it's dashed and it's blue and 1 pixel thick. Give your table. So table, new selector, a border of 1 pixel solid and black. Yeah, so that's the whole table. It's 1 pixel thick, solid, and black. Save and submit codes. Start next lesson. Links and text decoration. Links have a lot of the same properties as regular text. You can change their font, the color, size, and so on. But links also have a property, text decoration, that you can change to give your links a little more custom flair. You're probably used to seeing links that are blue and underlined, right? Well, that's not the way it has to be. Instructions. In the style.css tab, give your a selector a color of hashtag CC000. Okay, and then you see this little line down here, text decoration. If you set it to none, it's gone, but it's still a link. Congratulations, you finished this section. HTML plus CSS equals BFFs. Alright, final section. Time for some review. You're learning a lot, so from here on out, we'll do more frequent reviews to make sure you've got a handle on all this new material. Instructions. Okay, all on your lonesome. Add a link tag between the head tags and the HTML tab to the right. The link should have an href attribute that points to stylesheet.css. I'm sorry, I just ate. Kind of out of breath here. Stylesheet.css. What was it? Yeah, rel. No. Style sheet type text/CSS. CMS code, done. Many selectors, many properties. Alright, our HTML bone is connected to our CSS bone. Next, let's review selectors, properties, and values. Remember, the syntax is blah, 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 blah. Instructions. Add a pair of h1 tags inside the body of our HTML page. Your h1 header can say anything you want. Then on the h1 then on the CSS type, make its font family to Verdana and its color to hashtag 576D94. Okay, so I'm just gonna do game rel, that's the name of my YouTube channel, and then here h1, here it was font family Verdana, then color to hashtag 576D94. Add a pair of p tags in your below your h1 header, and then put any text you like. Game rel X is a YouTube channel created by Michael. Okay. Put any text you like in there. Then head over to the CSS tab and make the font size 18 pixels. So font size to 18 pixels there, and color to hashtag 4A4943, and there. Okay, a little gray, kind of hard to tell. Fallback. As we've seen, sometimes a user's computer doesn't have the mega sweet fonts we wish it had. For that reason, we give their browser a few fallback choices. Give the P font family set the P font family to Garamond. Give the H1 a backup of sans serif, and the P a backup font for serif. Oopsies. And then check the hint if you need a refresher. Obviously, now I'm saving some of code. Wait till I start next lesson. Size and borders. Excellent. Your page is a little bland, though. Let's add a picture with the border instructions. Add the image to your HTML document. Its src attribute can point anywhere. Check the hint if you're stuck or need a picture. Okay, I obviously need a picture. Yeah, let's use this. So image source picture. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Codecademy. That's the really old picture. Check the hint if you're stuck or need a picture. On the CSS tab, set your image's height. Image's height. To 100 pixels, which is way smaller. Width to 300 pixels. On the CSS tab, give your image a border of 1 pixel solid. Hashtag 4682B4. Yeah, there. Way to go, start next lesson. Links and text decoration. Great work, we're almost there. Instructions. Add a link to your HTML page using the A tag. href URL link text A. So obviously I'm just, instead of Google this time, I'm gonna use what was it? Codecademy. https www.codecademy.com, and then here's Codecademy. There. Add a link to tags. Check the hint if you need a reminder. You can link to any web page. On the CSS tab, change your link decoration. Text decoration. Text decoration to none. And color to hashtag CC0000. There. You're done. Revel in the glory of your newfound CSS knowledge for a moment. Then head on to the project. Okay, CSS and overview. Okay, so we're gonna design a button for your website for the next video. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video, and bye-bye.